How to test a battery and provide a jump start.
After checking that you have all the tools necessary, remember that the first step to every service call is to take safety precautions. For a battery service call, the precautions include wearing safety goggles, gloves, and using a fender shield to protect the member's vehicle from damages, such as scratches from tools or hanging keys while we're providing the service. It's important to remember that while a sale is not our primary goal, each battery call is a potential sale.
When you receive a new battery service call, you want to make sure that you have the specific battery for the member's vehicle so that you are prepared to provide the service correctly. Since our objective is to exceed each member's expectations, being prepared will always put us in a position to achieve that goal. Our primary goal is not a sale, but to provide a complete service. When we provide the totally satisfied service that our members expect and explain the battery service program correctly, our AAA members will see a value in the service and most likely will choose to purchase a battery if necessary to maintain their vehicle. Upon arrival, once you've made your introduction, you must ask questions so that you may better understand how to provide the service correctly. Let's pause for a second. What do you think is wrong with this picture? Notice that the technician did not pay attention to safety first and continued speaking to the member on the road. It is important to remember that the safest place for a member is always on the sidewalk away from traffic or in the passenger seat. Now let's continue in asking the correct question.
Is this the first issue with the battery? Were the lights left on? Has anybody else tried to jumpstart the vehicle?
If there is no date on the battery, ask the member when the battery was last replaced. It is important to visually inspect the battery for leaks and the terminals and posts for damage and/or corrosion. In addition to what you can visually identify as damage, notice if there are any unusual stenches or unusually bad scents coming from the battery. Some corroded batteries tend to smell like a rotten egg. If the battery smells and you notice the shape of the battery has expanded into an egg shape, there is a chance that the battery may explode when you jumpstart it. Take extra precautions should you see this combination. And if you have any doubts, contact your supervisor. We want to identify these issues and also let the member know what we see before we provide the service. If we find these kinds of issues, there could be pre-existing damage to the other components of the vehicle, which could potentially result in further repairs. Issues such as these could result in an unnecessary damage claim if we do not bring them to the member's attention. Many times, the member will only recall that it was our company that serviced their vehicle last. If we find dirty or corroded terminals, we want to show the member the issue and let them know that we will clean them as part of our service. We can also explain that the reason we want to clean the terminals is because dirty or corroded terminals can provide inaccurate readings on the tester. Terminals should be cleaned and checked to make sure that they are tight before the test begins. Again, a part of exceeding a member's expectations is to walk them through the process every step of the way through simple explanations. Studies show that doing so puts the member at ease and builds a better rapport and trust with the technician. The procedure to test a battery is as follows. Place the booster on the tool table. Turn on the analyzer manually by simply pressing the power button. Once the analyzer is on, enter the correct order number. Testing with the wrong order number is just as bad as not testing the battery at all. Then, follow the prompts on the analyzer. One of the prompts will be to scan the VIN number of the vehicle. This cannot be ignored. You must attempt to scan every VIN. This is important because AAA scores us individually and as an independent contract station based on the percentage of VINs that we scan. In some cases, the VIN is not able to be scanned correctly from the door frame of the vehicle. In this case, ask for the vehicle's registration and scan the barcode on that. If both options are exhausted, and in the very rare case that you are still unable to scan the VIN number, you must just proceed with the test. Attach the positive and negative tester leads to the positive and negative terminals of the battery. First, place the positive and then the negative. Once the battery portion of the test is complete, you will be prompted to start the engine. Before starting the vehicle, take 2 steps back and turn your face away as a precaution. There is always a risk that the battery will explode. That is when you will need to connect the booster pack, only long enough to jumpstart the engine. The starter test will automatically process when the vehicle is started. Remove the booster pack before completing any other steps in the testing process. If the booster is attached at the time of the alternator test, you will receive a false reading. It is vital we give the member accurate information. Any misleading information can result in a complaint and/or potential damage to the vehicle. We want to make sure the alternator is working properly. If we do not have accurate information, we cannot make the proper recommendation. Once the test is completed, you will be able to print out the results. Always print 2 copies, one for yourself and one for the member. If a member has a AAA warranty and the battery fails, you must print a 3rd copy. Remember that AAA batteries have a warranty that grants them a free battery within the first 3 years from the date of purchase if it fails or if there is an acid leak. The member should have the battery invoice. If the member does not have an invoice, you can locate the date on the top or the side of the battery. Or call your dispatcher or the Auto Club directly to find out the date of purchase. For 3 years after that, a failed AAA battery can be replaced at a prorated price. These rates are found on the battery application guide. After the test strips are printed, explain to the member the results of the battery, the starter, and the alternator tests. Refer to your AAA training for the explanations of these test results.